this is where you're a little you're a little hamstrung if you're the Lady Vols. I don't think you can ever hire a man to coach the Lady Vols. I don't. I think there's way too much pride about Title IX and what women's basketball, the game, and brand means. I don't think you can ever hire a man to coach the Tennessee Lady Vols. I don't think it would go over well with the alumni. And
I hadn't thought about that. It wouldn't be a factor in my mind, but I'll mull that over today. You shouldn't care. Yeah, I mean, if there's a fantastic football coach that's female, you should hire them. That just isn't out there right now. It shouldn't matter, but you bring up an interesting point. I hate to see this for Kellie Harper. I hate to see it for Holly Warlick because I feel like it's an impossible situation. But
it didn't help with Holly Warlick also in her defense, and she recruited well. But so when Dave Hart hired her, he didn't give her like this long-term deal. I think her contract was like 3 years the whole time she was there, which Dave, it's so hard to recruit if you're on a 3-year contract. You need at least a 5-year contract usually before you can recruit well. She wasn't in the upper echelon of paid SEC coaches, despite what we know Kellie Harper became at the time. She was on paper the most qualified person to take that job by far. But because she was paid low, then when you brought in Kellie Harper, you couldn't really pay Kellie Harper more than you were paying Holly Warlick. So yeah, just a little bit of a trick.
Yep. I'm interested to think over the men's thing, if that matters, if it's a man or not. It shouldn't, but maybe it does. I would throw a lot of money at Kara Lawson. However, by the same token, I'm not sure if I'm Kara Lawson, I'd take it. Going back again, why do you think that it would be, as we're working to get Jimmy Himes on, but why do you think that a men's coach would not be accepted by the fan base?
I think demographically, you have to understand that what makes the Lady Vols special, even more special than UConn, what make the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame is if you look at Tennessee's history, one of the reasons the Lady Vols as a program is so successful is because they outwardly embraced Title IX when it happened in the 70s, in the face of a lot of opposition. There were a lot of people that really didn't think women's sports was worth it. And Tennessee built and cultivated a following very dedicated to women's sports. And you had in Pat Summitt a woman who was very not just committed to Tennessee winning, as you know, went out of her way to try to promote the women's basketball game and take it to a new level. I do believe that I've heard rumors, Dave, you can confirm this or not, but I have heard rumors that she had been offered at times chances to coach the men's team as part of a splash hire, but turned it down because she was, rather than be the first women's coach in the men's game, it was more important for her to uplift the entire women's sport. And I think there is some, this isn't at every school. I'm not against men coaching women's basketball. I'm also not against women coaching men's basketball. And I'm waiting for the first female head coach in the men's game. But I think that at Tennessee specifically, there was such a sense of pride about the women's game that I just don't think you can hire based on how many people in the fan base that were cultivated into this fan base. I don't think it's going to go over well if you hire a man for a head coach. I don't think they should. I'll be honest with you. I don't think they even should.
I don't even really think of that in basketball. I used to say when Pat Summitt was the women's coach that she could be the men's coach and it would be a challenge in recruiting. And I think that's still safe to say, but not nearly as much as it would have been 2 decades ago, 2 decades ago. I think that a women's coach could have success on the men's side and vice versa. I don't know that really that ever, Caleb, was a serious consideration for Tennessee. It was something that was kicked and bannered about. I don't think she would have ever wanted to do that. To me, that would have made what she had done a bit of a sideshow. And what she did was phenomenal. So I don't think she would have wanted to do that. And I don't think that Tennessee would have wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would have been we already know how little that Tennessee cared about men's basketball during this time in the 90s and the 2000s. If they had like hired Pat Summitt, say when Kevin O'Neal left or when Jerry Green was fired, at that point it would have looked more like trying to steal headlines than trying to win games. Even if I think Pat Summitt could have done it, it would have been like what the Jets did when they brought in Tim Tebow 12 years ago. Remember that? And that was a blatant headline grab. That was a we're mad the Giants won the Super Bowl. Let's try to get the back pages of the New York Post talking about us again.